Hey, you guys, it's Miss Brothers. What's happening? So I wanted to take a minute and I wanted to show you how to use some of the functionality on your calculators, specifically if you're using a TI-30X2. It's a Texas Instruments scientific calculator. The other one that I'm going to be looking more closely at is this one. So these are the two most common calculators I see in my chemistry class, and I wanted to kind of take you through, like I said, some of the functionality of it, etc., etc. So give me a second here. I'm just going to get something set up, and we're going to do that. Sorry, I'm doing something you guys can't see off the screen, but here we go. Okay. So we're going to start, you guys, by doing this problem. So this is the practice one conversion scientific notation that we worked on I want to say, I don't know, a day or two ago. I can't remember what day we worked on it. But we're going to work on this problem right here as a way to kind of figure out how to do these problems using a scientific notation on your calculator. Yes, if you wanted to, you could figure these out doing standard notation, but that takes a really long time, and again, we're trying to be efficient if we can in this class. So what you have is you have 2.3 times 10 to the third grams times 4.0 times 10 to the fifth grams. And if we want to do that on a calculator, I'm going to show you both ways, okay? So if we are using our TI-30X, what we have is I'm going to go ahead and just type this in. We have 2.3. That's how we're going to start. You can see it right there on the screen. And we want to get this into scientific notation, so 10 to the third. So if you're using this particular calculator, you're going to go second, and then there's a key right above the 7. You're going to push that, and you'll see the little E that pops up on the screen. And since our exponent is 3, then you just put 3. All right. Now we're multiplying this, so we're going to take this times, and as you can see from our problem, we've got 4.5 times 10 to the fifth, so we've got our multiplication. So now we're going to put 4.0, and again, you guys, we've got our second. We're going to push that EE, which is right above the 7. And remember, on this particular calculator, you have to use the second button first before you can get to the EE. All right. Once we do that, we know that our exponent is 5. So we're going to go ahead and put in 5. And that equals this ridiculous number right here. You've got, what is that? That's a 92, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 zeros. Okay. Now, you could write that, but again, we're trying to practice correct scientific notation. So in order to get scientific notation on this particular calculator, you have to go through some steps here. So you're going to come up here to the second button. Click on that, and then there's a button right next to it. It says DRG, and then above it, it says SI/ENG. So you're going to, like I said, you're going to hit second, and then you're going to hit that button, and you've got some choices. You've got this flow, you've got psi, or you've got ENG. You want to choose psi, and you do that by simply clicking on this series of buttons. Click on the right button, and then come down to your equals button, and click on that. And it does a couple of things. First thing you'll notice is you've got this little SCI that pops up right here. That means your calculator is now set for scientific notation. And it will stay that way until you clear it out. All right? And then if you look, now you've got 9.0 times 10 to the 8th. And that's what you would write right here. 9.2 times 10 to the 8th. Okay? Now, if you want to get out of, no, like I said, your calculator, once you hit the clear button, your calculator, if you notice, will stay in SCI. So that means whenever you get answers, it will give you answers in scientific notation. Now, if you don't want that, what you have to do is you have to reset it. So you're going to go to second, click the 0, because it says reset. It's going to ask you if you want to reset. You're going to use the right arrow and choose yes, and then hit enter. And as you can see, your little SCI button clears out. So again, if you want to get that SCI, you need an answer. So in this case, it was 9, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you need an answer. Second degree, choose psi, hit enter, and that's going to give you your scientific notation. And there it is, 9.02 times 10 to the 8th. Okay. Now let's do the same problem if you are using the TI-30X8, which is one of the calculators I have in the classroom. And we're going to do the exact same problem, and you actually have fewer steps to deal with this one, which is kind of nice. So that's why this one might be a little bit better calculator. So again, let's go ahead, and we're doing the same problem, 2.3 times 10 to the third times 4.0 times 10 to the fifth. So let's do that, 2.3. Now this time, you guys, you don't have to use the second button as much. This one is a little bit more straightforward. This time we can simply go right to the EE button, which is right over the 7, and type in our exponent, which is 3. And we're going to multiply that, so hit our multiplication button, times 4.0 EE. And that one's going to be 10 to the 5th, so we're going to hit our 5. And again, that gives us that really obnoxious number. And again, we have to put this into scientific notation. But what we're going to do this time is that we simply are going to go to the second button. And all you have to do then after that is hit the 5. Because that takes you to your scientific button right there. And now there's your answer, 9.2 times 10 to the 8th. So again, I'm going to take you through that one more time. All right, 2.3 EE to the third times 4.0. Hit your EE button, and that's to the 5th, equals this great big number. And again, if we want to get this into the scientific notation, all we have to do is hit the second button up here, and then the 5, and there it is. Okay? So it's pretty straightforward as far as those things. Now, again, we would write that as 9.2 times 10 to the 8th. Okay. Now, you'll notice on this one that you've got some problems that have negative exponents. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's do B real quick so that you know how to type in the negative exponent. I'm going to go back to this calculator right here. Okay, I'm going back to my original calculator. And this time we are dealing with the numbers 9.6, and we've got to get to our EE again. So because we're using the regular 30x, we're going to hit second, EE. But notice, you guys, this time our exponent is a -1. So in order to make our exponent negative, before we put the number in, we have to come down here to this key right here. So we're going to click that, and then we can put in our exponent, which is 1. Now we're going to take that times 5.2. And again, second, EE, and our exponent is 2. And notice how this time, you guys, I'm automatically in scientific notation because I never cleared out science or my SCI setting from the last time. And remember, it will hold this setting until you reset it. So you could always go and reset it if you want. I just chose to leave mine in here because I'm working with all kinds of exponents in these problems. And I end up with 4.992 times 10 to the second. And in this case, you guys, if you wanted to just round that up to 5.0, so again, that's going to be 5.0 times 10 to the second. That is really acceptable because we want to, because of our precision, we're going to round these to the nearest tenth. Okay, so let's take a look at this same problem on our other calculator. And again, we are dealing with that same problem. So we're going to go ahead and type in 9.6. Again, because we're using the XA instead of the 30X, we can just go straight to our EE. And again, same thing. I've got to get to -1. And I'm going to basically use that same key. It looks a little bit different. So I'm just going to click that negative. So it knows I'm going to be doing a negative exponent. Then I'm going to click my 1. And then I'm going to multiply that times 5.2 EE to the second. That's 10 to the second. So I just put my 2 in there. And it gives me this. Now remember, I have to put this into scientific notation. So I'm going to click EE. And then I'm going to click the 5. Oops, that didn't work out the way I wanted it to. Oops, I did that wrong. Here, let me do that one more time. 9.6 EE to the -1 times 5.2 EE to the second equals, and I want to put that in. Oh, that's right, I forgot to hit the second button. My bad. You have to hit the second button, then the 5, and then now I have that 4.992 times 10 to the second, and I would just round that up to 5.0 times 10 to the second. All right, so that's how you do it. That's how you deal with jumping around, all these different functionalities. Hopefully this is helpful to you. If not, I'm sure you'll let me know. All right, you guys, thanks.